Right, so a friend of mine, he was looking over my channel. Sometimes he pops in, takes a look, sometimes not. And he noticed that occasionally I'll do a video about making a single card change to a deck. And he said, that's really a waste of time. Why are you doing that? Wait, one card? Who cares? I beg to differ. I think sometimes the single card changes can be the most important because you have to look at your deck in total. You have to decide if the card you... Now I'm talking about when your deck is built and it's working and you get a card you want to slot in that should work better than something else. The problem is maybe you don't know what. And I'm talking again about a deck that doesn't have any real problems, doesn't have any obvious things to exclude, to cut. So anyway, Tivar the Belligerent here. This is my recently built black-green elf commander. So it's all in the red zone, baby. 2 black-green for a 5/4 legendary 4. Whenever my elves attack, they all get Death Touch. Even him. My elves, attacking elves, they get Death Touch. And the extra wording is just confirming this shit. Each creature has, whenever a mana ability of the creature resolves, my creatures, I put a number of +1/+1 encounters on it equal to the amount of mana this creature produced. Only once per turn. So my mana elves get bigger, and my attacking elves get Death Touch. Sweet. So I want to put her in. This is Glissa the Traitor. Glissa the Traitress. Black, double green for a 3/3 zombie elf. With Initiative Contact Mortel. She has First Strike and Death Touch. So basically whatever blocks her when she attacks, or she blocks when she's defending, unless it has Indestructible or Regeneration, it's going to die. It's dead. And whenever one of my opponent's creatures dies, I get to put an artifact from my graveyard back into my hand. That second part is very important. Because this deck, I don't have many artifacts. I've got 5. But they're all key to my strategy, and they are going to get blown up. They are going to get destroyed because they're juicy targets and the key to my strategy. Vanquisher's Banner makes my elves bigger, and whenever I cast an elf spell, I draw a card. Akroma's Memorial. All my creatures get flying, First Strike, Vigilance, Trample, Haste, Protection Black, Protection Red. They get all that shit. So as soon as I put this down, if I have a bunch of elves, all of a sudden, bang, I can smash them in the fucking face real hard. And they're flying, so unless they've got a lot of flying creatures, they ain't blocking. They're getting smashed in the face real hard. Banner of Kinship. When it comes, and actually, this, if it gets destroyed, and I bring it back later, it's probably going to be even worse for my opponents. 5, when it comes to play, choose a creature type. Elf. Enters with a fellowship counter on it for each creature I control of the chosen type. So if I have 6 elves, they'll get +6/+6. Simple. If it gets blown up, and I bring it back and cast it later, and I now have 10 elves, they'll get +10/+10. So yeah, people are going to want to blow that up. And so far, the only way I have to get them back is Elvish Roar, which is, he's kind of like Eternal Witness, but not as good. He costs 2 green, and I think he's a 3/3. Yeah, Coat of Arms. If I have 10 elves and they all get +9/+9, yeah, of course I have to be careful with this, because my opponents play a lot of tribal decks too. And this might make their creatures bigger than mine, because they have more creatures of a tribal type than I do. Something to keep in mind. Anyway, where is that? Probably got it past him. Then I have this. No Rod. No Rod says all artifact activated abilities for artifacts shut off. No Soul Ring. No tapping an artifact land. I looked it up. It affects artifact lands too. No treasures. No foods. No swords. No light. None of that shit. Nothing with an artifact is all shut down. And that's why I've got artifacts of static abilities, because it won't shut those down. Now then, with that explained, this deck worked, so I played 3 games with it so far. The first 2 games it kind of choked. The third game, holy shit. By about turn, I want to say turn 6. Maybe turn 7. I had enough mana elves to trigger Azuri 4 times. Azuri says, spend, let me see if I can find him, spend 3 green, and your elves get +2 +3 +3. Here he is. +3 +3 and trample until end of turn. So I had 20 mana. So I triggered him 4 times. So my elves all gain +12 +12 and trample. This is game over. So it works pretty good. I just want to rough, fine-tune and sand polish the rough edges. So I want her in here. 1, like I said, she's a good attacker. 2, she'll bring back one of my artifacts. Yeah, I forgot about showing you the Elvish Rigor. Anyway, so the problem is everything in here has a purpose. Everything in here does something to advance my strategy, recover if the strategy starts to falter when my opponents push back. So every card in here does something. I'm going to cut to the chase and just show you the card I decided to cut and why. So Chameleon Colossus. Everything else in here is either a mana elf or, let's just look through it some, just so I don't skip too far ahead. So whenever she attacks, untap all my creatures, so I can reuse my mana elves. My creatures now have vigilance, pseudo-vigilance, so they can block. The ones that survive the attack that I'm committing can block for me. Nomad Shepherd. When she's in play, and if I have enough other creatures, I can start blowing up my opponent's artifacts and enchantments. Hang on, let me get a sip of juice. So she has her place. Add a shitload of mana. Comes into play. Target opponent. To be honest, I could probably cut Shaman the pack pretty easy. So when she comes into play, she hurts one opponent. Let me think about that. See, this is another reason to review the deck and look at the cards. And I'm thinking she's really good, but since I don't have a way of flickering her, bouncing her, sacrificing her, getting back to my hand or top of my library reliably, because right now the deck does not have a Vora stronghold, maybe she's the one I should cut. We'll examine that. Graveyard Control adds mana. Makes it so nobody can counterspell my stuff on my turn unless they have artifacts, and if there's no rod in play, they just can't counter my shit. During each player's upkeep, they choose a color. If I choose green, your islands aren't producing anything but green until the end of the turn. Of course, flip side is, on their turn, if they're a blue player, they choose blue. My lands don't make green or black. They don't really make blue either, because that's not Tivar's color identity. Recovery, so whenever my elves get wiped from the board, if this is in play, I will get some board presence back. Draw and Lord. Protection. Find typically Beast Whisperer or him, so I can start drawing cards. Life is good. Especially in this deck with the monster in the woods. She's proven her value time and time again. Bounce force back to my hand, untap target creature for the low cost of 1 green to get her into play. Find a land. I don't have a lot of find land cards in here. Tap for mana. He's fucking awesome. Recovery. gain life. So if my opponents come out of the gate swinging, because the elves, they're all small, I plan to grow them, but until they grow, I don't want to block them, get them killed uselessly. So I need ways of recovering my life total for my opponent smashing into me. Destroy an artifact or enchantment, Lord, and add mana. Get stuff down quicker, and whenever I cast green permanents, my creatures get bigger. War Master, so if I don't have Azuri, at least I have recourse to him, if I can find one of them. So he costs 2 more than Azuri does to trigger. He only gives him +2/+2 and not trample but death touch, but still, that can be significant. Flash. So if I can cast my creatures at instant speed at the end of the turn of the opponent preceding me, they are ready to go, and I don't feel so exposed to a board wipe. She gives all my creatures counters trample. You just saw the Violet Vigor. He gives my creatures +1/+1 on counters, and she gives them trample. They're best friends. He lets me clear the top of my library if I have creatures up there. This used to be Kesa. I went through a round of what I'm doing now a couple days ago, and I took out Kesa because she costs the same. She's a 2/3. When she comes into play, she gives all green creatures +1/+1. She becomes a 3/4. But she doesn't do anything else. If she did something like, spend a green, target green creature gains Shroud until end of turn, she would be really valuable. But this, to give all my creatures hexproof, is more valuable, and their regeneration to defend myself. Maybe you'll find that the deck works so fast I don't need it. I'm still, like I said, I've only had 3 games. Patriarch's Bidding, Recovery. I have a problem against flying creatures. I have nothing in the deck that flies at all. So flying creatures just come over and smash me in the head. So I need new ways of dealing with them. If I cast enough elves, I can kill some flying creatures. So there we go. Destroy an artifact or enchantment. Onboard trick. Mana. Board wipe. Really the only board wipe in the deck. This could be a board wipe. It's either going to hit or miss. It's either going to be, I spend 3 in a green and I destroy an artifact and nothing else happens. Or it's going to be 3 in a green, I destroy an artifact and he sends it back and destroys one of my artifacts. Then I send it to another guy and destroy one of his artifacts. He gets pissed off, sends it back, destroys one of my lands. I'm like, fuck you. So I send it back to him, destroy one of his lands. He sends it back, destroys one of my lands. I send it back, destroy one of his lands. I'm out of lands, so he sends it to the 4th guy who's just been watching, a complete innocent bystander. But then everybody realizes, wow, we're losing our lands, but this guy's untouched. So hit one of his lands, he gets pissed off because he was not involved. He was just sitting there, watching us kill each other's lands out of spite. So he's like, okay, fine, fuck you, and he hits this guy's. So, ultimately, Chain of Acid is either 1 or 2 things get destroyed. Or, Chain of Acid is, when the spell finishes resolving, nobody has any lands, artifacts, enchantments, or planeswalkers in play. There he is, the Rigor. So he's a 4th. He's beefier than I thought. I thought he was a 3/3. So he's pretty beefy, but he only returns a permanent card from my graveyard to my hand. It'd be nicer if it was any card, but yeah, it is what it is. Finds an elf and provides mana, lands. I'm keeping this in here because everybody I play with knows I like recursion. I like ways of recycling things that go to my graveyard. So I'm pretty much one of the first targets of Bojuka Bog. Somebody draws Bojuka Bog, the first guy they look at is me. And if I have anything in my graveyard, typically they hit me. Unless they know somebody else is playing a intentional graveyard strategy, or they've got a lot more in their graveyard than I do, so they're a juicier target. Anyway, if I have a bunch of elves that I'm waiting for a Patriarch's Bidding to get back, I don't want them to get exiled, so repopulate. And yeah, then I have to draw them again and cast them again, but at least I still have them. Mana Elf. Like I said, I have very little against flyers, so I need a good number of creatures with reach, so I can reach up and grab them out of the sky and beat the shit out of them. I've got at least 3 draw engines. I've got 2 more potential. So if I'm drawing cards, some of them will be lands. She will help me get those lands down faster. Innkeeper's Talent, this is a new addition. Permanent to control with counters have Ward 1. So that means my planeswalkers, that means my creatures with plus and plus encounters. If you had put 1 or more counters on something, put twice as many. That sounds pretty damn good. So yeah, I have high hopes for that card. Okay, we're just about done. Okay, this flips into Cradle. Guy's Cradle, for those of you that don't know. So when it flips over, it will give me 1 green when I tap it for every creature that I control. Cupburn Scout, untap pseudo. I already went through this pile. What the hell? It was champion. I've got Yevamaya Cradle of Growth in here. So I've got Yevamaya Cradle of Growth. All lands are forest. She's in play. All my elves are forest walk. Therefore, they are unblockable. Therefore, they will kill people. Hurricane. Like I keep saying, the deck has very, nothing that flies. So Hurricane here, it's a sorcery, so it's 1 and done. But I intend to take out all the flyers when I cast it. How big is that flyer over there? Oh, it's 1818. Oh, I'm going to hurt everybody real bad. Myself too, but I'm getting rid of all the creatures that fly. X green does X damage to each creature flying in each player. Rapid Vigor. I've got another card coming in. I forget the name of it. I'll show it to you when I get it, but it'll probably replace this. So 1 in green, regenerate each creature you control. It's only good against some board wipes or an emergency block. So if I'm being attacked with a bunch of creatures and I have to block or I die, at least I can regenerate my creatures, so I can attempt to recover and keep going. Marwyn the Nurturer, so she gets bigger, adds mana. Dwynen pumps the elves, gives me life, which is good. Mana Elf, attrition. I don't know. I really need Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth. The one time I had this in my hand, I realized even if I cast it, I will not have enough black to start activating it. I only had 2 black at the time. So I need to put Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth in this deck if I'm going to keep running this. Or I need to find something better. Excuse me. Not sure what. This Better Silk Armor. All my creatures get reach and +0/+1. They get tougher and they can grab creatures out of the sky. He's got reach, death touch, and whenever another creature dies, each opponent... He doesn't have first strike though. But if I make him big, if he becomes, say, even a 6/7, that can still block almost any flyer and kill it. Oh, nice. My planeswalkers are stacked right on top of each other. Vivian Reed. So she's good for getting stuff off the top of my library, digging for creatures, Broken Wings, killing things with flying, artifacts, and enchantments. Tivar Kell, he helps me with the black issue that I have sometimes, not having enough black mana. He makes elves, he gives creatures counters, death touch, and if I get the emblem, whenever I cast an elf, it gains haste, and I draw 2 cards. Nice. Thrilling Encore. It's similar to Repopulate or Patriarch's Bidding. So it's kind of an instant Patriarch's Bidding in a way. And I should have, the 4 colorless won't be that hard. The 1 black might be hard depending on what's going on. But Somebody wipes the board, I do a Thrilling Encore, and I get all my creatures back. And everybody else's too. Beast Whisperer, yeah. Whenever I cast a creature, this guy. Oh, he's fucking cool. If he and Tiva are both in play, I get... Whenever I tap an elf for mana, they get a shitload of counters. Because he gives them mana, gives them counters for each mana they produce. So a land or elf, if I tap it for 1 green, Tivar says, hey, you tap for mana, have a counter. This guy says, you just became tapped, have a counter. And a land or elf is like, wow, you guys are cool. Dictative Erebos. So, like I said, small creatures, and I have attrition. So if I do get attrition down, and I get it working, if I get the black mana to operate it, whenever I sacrifice a creature to destroy a non-black, non-artifact creature, everybody else has to sacrifice another creature, so I get like 3 for 1. That sort of thing. That should work pretty good. Lord gives you more elves, shuts off artifacts that have activation costs, slowing down everybody that relies on mana rocks. I'm guilty of this as just as much as anybody. A lot of my decks, I really rely on mana rocks. This deck, I decided to try another angle of attack, not rely on any mana rocks, and shut everybody else's down. Elvish Hunter, if there's a creature I cannot deal with, if it becomes tapped, I can keep it tapped. So I can figure out how to deal with it later. Heritage Druid, yeah, she's fantastic. Tap 3 untapped elves, and I can bring them into play. She doesn't care if they have summoning sicknesses or not. She's like, I want 3 green. Tap 3 elves, give me 3 green. I'm like, yeah, okay. So, originally, given all that you just saw, all that I went through, originally I thought Chameleon Colossus was the one creature that I could take out without hurting myself, without breaking some synergy, without losing a lord, without losing something that can block a flyer, which I have serious problems against them with this deck. So I don't want to, I'm loath to take out anything with reach, I'm loath to take out the Spider Silk armor, and I just introduced Hurricane as another way of dealing with these bastards. The next step is to put a Silklash Spider in the deck, so it will have 2 monsters in the woods. Silklash Spider and Defiler of Vigor. And what I would take out for one of them, well, probably one of these. So anyway, my line of thinking was Chameleon Colossus. So he's 2 green for a 4/4, protection from black. That's pretty good. That's quite relevant in many games. And then if I've got mana, and if this deck is working, I will have mana, I can make him stronger and more powerful and smash people or block and kill things. So, but Glissa, she costs 2 green, so she's cheaper. She's a bit weaker, but she has First Strike and Death Touch. So I don't have to pump her full of mana in order to make it so she can kill something, or only worry about blocking or being blocked by black creatures in order for her to be a threat, and she returns artifacts to my hand. Granted, an opponent's creature would have to die, but that's going to happen from time to time. Whether or not I am involved, my opponent's creatures are going to die. Some of them. But now thinking about it, so Shaman of the Pack, 1 black-green, 3/2. When she comes into play, target opponent loses life equal to the number of elves I control. I played her in Game 3, the game where Tivar was really working, and I think I hit Cube for 10. He lost 10 life. So I only attacked him with 3 elves that had been pumped up +12/+12 with Azuri and then I attacked Ramon with the other 6 creatures I had available. If I did not have her to knock cube down by 10, I would have split the attack, the assault, 4 to cube and 5 to Ramon, and the result would have been the same. And also, given that I don't have any way of bouncing her back, flickering her, as I keep saying, and she costs the same as Glissa, although taking something out for 4 mana for something that costs 3 reduces my overall mana curve, reduces my overall mana cost. Lowers the mana curve, flattens it a bit. But still, so... See, this is another reason to have this single card exercise. So, going through all of that, I realize Shaman of the Pack is probably the best option for replacement. My initial thought, just from looking at the deck list on Moxfield, was Chameleon Colossus. Looks like the most likely candidate. But again, Chameleon Colossus, because these other creature types, sometimes that will hurt me. There are corner cases, like if somebody plays a Thrall Champion, they can, well, no, he's got text from black. They can't take him. If somebody plays, oh, I don't know, a creature with protection from humans, well, they've got protection from him. You know, weird shit like that can come up. But if I put a +1/+1 encounter on this bastard, and I've got the, what the hell is she called? I'm not going to look through the cards, I'm just going to look it up on Moxfield because it's so much easier. The Bramblewood Paragon. If I put a +1/+1 encounter on this guy, and Bramblewood Paragon is in play, and all my creatures' counters on them have trample, +1/+1 counters on them have trample, and I dump, oh, I don't know, 12 mana to end him, so I trigger him 3 times. So the first time, he becomes an 8/8, then he becomes a 16/16, then it becomes a 32/32 trampler. That's going to leave a mark. That'll probably kill somebody, because I wouldn't be doing that until turn 5, 6, 7, something like that. When everybody's been taking hits, people have been taking damage, yeah. Here I come with a 36/36 trampling motherfucker. Oh, and you're playing mono black? Oh, looks like you out of the game. Right, so that concludes that exercise, and that was actually quite useful. So this is why I do the single card changes sometimes. Look at your deck. If you make too many changes, if you make a bunch of changes at once, sometimes you can throw things out of whack. You can break some synergies. You can warp your deck in a way you didn't really expect. But if you do a single card change, then you can really think about everything holistically, what the deck is trying to do, and what the card you're taking out, what it gives you. Does it give you something that is better than the card you want to put in? Well, if so, it could have been that the way the deck was working, Glissa is not better than anything else I have in the deck. That could have been. That wasn't the case this time, though, I don't think. Alright, anyway, hope you liked it.